Hello everyone, it's Omae and welcome back to the brand new video. We are going to look at Super Boss against Vivi. This is quite a big video since I haven't recorded a Super Boss video in over a year. But here we are with 10 to 15 trillion damage teams based on your investments that can get upwards of 20 trillion if you have the alliance attack boost of up to 1.5x. So these teams, we are using very recent characters like Devon and Ogre, but there is a version of this team that I'll show you that also just uses the PKA GOP instead. He does have access to that damage limit break type, which helps us with damage quite a bit. And then we have a bit of an alternative. We are using Albaf Luffy, who does a lot of stuff similar to Devon and Ogre, so that's why they're kind of easy to replace with PKA GOP. So let me just do a quick run through of the teams before we get into it. So this one here, we are using Lafitte, very important, especially if you don't have Devon and Ogre. Lafitte is an absolute necessity on this team because he allows us to get around special ban on the final stage as a captain. He turns the color affinity from Blackbeard into a stackable color affinity, and since we are running a friend Blackbeard as well, it means that both of Blackbeard's specials are gonna help us immensely with damage. We have Albaf Luffy, who do needs the 6+, but he doesn't need level limit break upgrades. Doc Q, I recommend maxing this character's last tap. It's an extremely powerful effect, essentially doubling our damage. It's not that simple, but it does make a massive difference, right? Besides that, Devon and Ogre, they get around stage 2 entirely with their super swap, getting around the paralysis orbs and also the enemy recovery orb barrier. But if you're using PKA GOP, he also gets around the paralysis stuff, and then we can use the sword into legend as a support on him to generate recovery orbs. So that's kind of the alternative. The main point of Devon and Ogre here is to give the conditional boost. It's a very powerful one, and we do get an orb boost already from Luffy, but we can get a bit of a stronger one from Devon and Ogre thanks to their super swap, which gives us an effect that states that following orb boost will be buffed by 0.5. So a slight increase in damage for your orb boost, a much bigger conditional boost is the main benefit of running Devon and Ogre. And we do use that super tandem of Luffy. It's very important that we run a super tandem unit here. We have all that super tandem boost from Blackbeard, so it's very important that you make good use of it by using a super tandem character like Luffy. He also gives the enemy increased damage taken, which goes really well with Doc Q's weakened status, which he also inflicts through immunities. Doc Q, besides also giving that last tap, is giving a base attack boost, so he's doing a decent amount in the team. But I definitely say he's one of the more replaceable characters on the team. At the end of the day, the core here is Lafitte, the two Blackbeards, and Albaf Luffy. Devon and Ogre as well as Doc Q, they can be replaced. As for the supports, Guernica is super important for removing 3 turns of the weak chain lock we get on the final stage. The Lafitte special will only remove 7 turns of it, so we need that extra 3 turns from Guernica. I think an alternative could be the Arena San Juan Wolf, but even then I don't think he's very helpful because he only gets around 2 turns of the chain lock. Yeah, I mean, he's only removing 2 turns. He attaches to the Blackbeard, but like, yeah, 2 turns is not enough. I might find another support that could work as well. In terms of requirements here, Guernica and Roger Odin are the only requirements per se. Roger Odin makes a massive difference by giving us that 1.75x attack boost. Vivi is great for giving an extra 10% damage for our quick units by giving enemy resistance down, but she's definitely not required. On Lafitte, any in support in the game will work, but make sure it's a character that's level 150 so that you can get contribution to your character level damage limit break. Besides that, we are using Shanks on our Blackbeard, also just for stat boost. It really doesn't matter who it is. And that's about it. The ship can be the Catapult as well. That's also a really good high damage ship. It also makes it easy to hit perfects, which actually is much better than running the Black Cat. Yes, Black Cat has a way higher damage potential. It's meant to be ran alongside the Blackbeard Pirates team, being quick free spirit centric, but it doesn't allow you to hit easier perfects. So if you suck at tap timing, the Black Cat ship is not the best to use, even if it hits the highest damage potential. Catapult is the safer option. Same goes for the Shark Superb. If you don't have either of those, you can just use the Whale Sharks or any ship you have that boosts your quick units. That's about it for the versus strength team. Once again, we are running a friend captain of the Blackbeard once again, and since we are working at low HP with this team, rush is not really a priority here. Against Dexter, we are running a rush character in Ganko. We don't have Shamrock here, but we will be running him as a friend captain. We aren't using any characters like Beckman Yasap, Crocodile Mihawk, any of these 12th any characters like Luffy, Buggy, and Emu. I don't have them still. So we are using characters like Whitebeard Ace, Broggy, and Luffy, who are mainly there to proc Shanks's Super Tandem, mind you. But they are also pulling their weight on the team, if I'm being honest. But then we have characters like V2 Saturn. Very important that we have these 3 Celestial Dragon characters: Shamrock, Ganko, and Saturn. Since we have those, we get the EX Super of both Shamrock and Ganko activated, and also the rush ability of Ganko we get access to. And she has one of the strongest rush effects in the entire game, so very important here. Besides that, the support abilities of Brook is quite important for a 1.5x conditional, which we do stack with Shanks' conditional. Broggy and Luffy allows us to stack those, and then Whitebeard and Ace are allowing us to get a massive buff to Ganko's attack boost. We also allow a lot of chain buffs from them, including a chain growth rate buff from their super swap, as well as a massive chain additive buff from their special. Unfortunately, they're not doing a lot. Like, both him and Broggy Luffy aren't doing a lot for the team. They're mainly there for Shanks' Super Tandem. And I need to make a whole rant video about this. But Shanks, I hate this guy so much. I actually despise this legend right now, bro. Because his requirement is so bad. If you don't have Beckman Yasap or the Crocodile Mihawk for the Mihawk portion to proc both his EX Super as well as his Super Tandem effect, it's going to be a pain in the ass. You have to build your team essentially around this because there's so few strength cerebral focused Luffy's and Blackbeards. And besides that, it's all these niche characters like the Big Mom and Kaido. Kaido has so many old characters who don't really hold up today. Big Mom doesn't really have any strength cerebral focused units. Uta, yes, Christmas Uta's great, but she kind of conflicts with Ganko. They both give damage reduction based attack boosts. Tap timing based attack boosts, and also the Uta clashes with Shanks's orb manipulation. There's a lot of annoying gimmicks here with Shanks. His EX Super, we need more characters that actually match it, right? It's horrible if you don't have either Emu, the full 12th Anti-Emperor batch, or if you don't have the Beckman Yasap and Crocodile Mihawk. Regardless, this is what we are running. We have a rush from Ganko, Super Tandem from our Shanks, and we don't really have a last step ability, but that's not really the end of the world here. Mr. 3 is great because Shanks does give us a damage reduction based attack boost based on our damage reduction effect, so very important that Mr. 3 is there. It's a massive damage amp here. Besides that, we're kind of juggling territories here, using the strength territory from a V2 Saturn and then the powerhouse territory from Ganko. This will allow us to get a we use the strength territory from the Saturn, then we use Shanks for a strength for a cerebral territory, and that allows us to get the strongest special from Shamrock. Unfortunately, yes, we could get a powerhouse territory from Whitebeard and Ace first, and then get a stronger Ganko special by having both a strength and powerhouse territory up at the same time. But the damage lost from having Whitebeard and Ace's attack boost instead of Ganko's attack boost is just too great. We're rather using the weaker Ganko special and then buffing her attack boost by 1.5x thanks to Whitebeard and Ace. So that's a basic explanation of these teams. The Shamrock is great for giving us, of course, the chain multiplicative buff, chain boundary from Saturn, chain additive and chain growth rate from our Whitebeard and Ace. We have an attack boost from Ganko, or boost from our Shamrock, as well as a color affinity. A conditional 1 from Shanks, conditional 2 from the Brook support. We have weakened status to the enemy from our Shamrock EX Super, enemy increased damage taken from our Saturn. We have the tap timing attack boost from our Ganko, and we have Rush and Super Tandem as well as Super Tandem boost. I think this is a pretty solid team, and you'll see it in the damage. But first, let's go through the versus strength team using our quick units. So it is definitely going to make a massive difference how much your Blackbeard has been invested into. But at the end of the day, he's not a bad character to focus on. Yes, you could wait for Loki, who is very likely going to be a quick free spread unit, but Blackbeard just has a lot of value in investing into, both in PvE and PvP. So let's get straight into this. Yes, this team, there's about 15 trillion right now, but if you have the alliance attack boost, which gives you up to 1.5x extra damage if all of your alliance are attacking the super boss at the same time. I will explain this in a separate video, how to abuse this feature, but for now we are running none of that alliance attack boost. This is raw damage, but with that 1.5x you can definitely get upwards of 20 trillion with good investment on this team. So stage 1, we are just going to kill the turtles. There's no stall required here. Stage 2, Rage will give us paralysis orbs and paralysis for 6 turns. We also get a special limiter, which we do remove thanks to Blackbeard's captain, though we didn't even really need to remove it, to be honest. We're just using the swap effect of our Van Ogre to remove all of the gimmicks and give us the recovery orb to get around the barrier. We'll then use the super type, or super class should I say, to give a free spirit territory. And what this does is allows the special to give a massive orb boost and conditional boost that will last until the final stage. And that orb boost was buffed by 0.5x thanks to the swap effects, boost status effect. Besides that, we can just kill here. There's really no reason to do anything more. And it's very easy, one tap. Now the enemy will place their territory on the field here, which will remove the free spirit territory from our Van Ogre and Devon. So we will get a attack boost from Roger Odin, 3-turn reduction of chain lock from Guernica, and then enemy 10% resistance down to quick units from Vivi. We can first use our Luffy. This will inflict the enemy with increased damage taken through immunities. Put a free spirit territory on the field, which will replace the enemy's territory, which would otherwise reduce our damage by 67%. So very important there. We can then use the special of our Blackbeard. Make sure that you do not have the certain VFX once a day and play action special once a day effects on. You need to have all of these off. We need to hit excellent on the action special because it reduces the amount of taps we need for the tap timing attack boost from Blackbeard special to actually come into effect. If you don't hit an excellent, you have to hit like 3 to 4 taps before that attack boost, tap timing based, actually takes effect. But when you hit excellent, it's a much lower requirement. So we only need to hit excellent on the first Blackbeard. The second one we are just using for the color affinity, which doesn't change based on your tap timing performance here with the action special. So only the first one we are performing to get the tap timing based attack boost to be as strong as possible. And we can't stack tap timing based attack boost, so it really doesn't matter what you do for that second Blackbeard special. That also gets buffed by Lafitte's captain effect. Now this is a very important moment here. If you don't have Devon and Ogre, you would have gotten the orb boost from Luffy's special, which the enemy interrupts by giving us 10 tons of special bind. Lafitte's captain effect removes that special bind. I will show you in a separate playthrough how it works. But yes, Lafitte is very important if you don't have Devon and Ogre, because you won't be carrying in that orb boost from stage 2. You'll instead be using the orb boost of Luffy on stage 3. Now, my ears are ringing from all this talking. We have a ability to go through enemies' damage reduction and threshold thanks to Blackbeard's special. It'll apply to all of our characters. We can now use the special of Lafitte. Notice that Blackbeard's special put a quick territory on the field. So we have quick and free spirit territories, and Lafitte is the captain. Therefore, he will get the captain swap optionally, which will allow us to swap Blackbeard into the captain. He also will remove that remaining 7 turns of a weak chain lock and give us a 3-turn massive chain boundary. And since Lafitte has an in support on him, he gives us a chain additive of 1.8 as well. We can swap Blackbeard to the captain. His captain ability will give us way more damage than Lafitte's. And also, Lafitte converted the color affinity from our first Blackbeard special into a stackable color affinity, which goes very nicely with the second color affinity. So we can use our second Blackbeard here. we can skip it because it really doesn't matter the outcome here. We'll get the same color affinity, and since we have both quick and free spirit territories up, we get a massive 8x color affinity from that second Blackbeard activation. We can now use Doc Q's special to give us a full board of bomb orbs, which he will then convert into super quick orbs with the EX super of Blackbeard. Blackbeard will also give us a damage reduction based attack boost based on the enemy's damage reduction, which is 80% at the current moment. So our damage, or 90% actually, it's a very strong buff here. And remember, super type slots get stronger based on how many characters match the type. So very similar to territory. So right now we are in the optimal orbs. These are the strongest orbs in the game that you will see right now. We can also use Lafitte's super class to just give himself an extra 1.2x damage. And then don't remove the captain swap. Please don't do that. It's very important that you use the EX super of Blackbeard before Doc Q, because they both give the ability to perform super tandem with certain slots, but we need Blackbeard's effect first. Doc Q allows us to do that with bomb orbs, super tandem, as well as recovery, but we need to perform super tandem with quick slots from Blackbeard. Very, very important. So currently, it really doesn't matter if you use the second EX super here, it makes no difference. We currently have a 1.75x attack boost from Roger Odin support, a 3.5x color or boost from Devon and Ogre, a 2.5x conditional from Devon and Ogre. We also have oh wait, my bad. As for the STR team here, this one is about 13 to 14 trillion. Of course, that's without the alliance boost as well. I am going to be running a Shamrock friend captain with damage limit break level 3 and super tandem boost level 2 with level limit break expansion and level limit break 3. So I would say the most important character in terms of investment is indeed the friend Shamrock, because we are having that super tandem when we're tapping with Shamrock, as well as Shanks, but Shamrock will have the highest chain, of course. We have a lot of chain buffs on this team. It's kind of one of the best parts about it. We have a chain additive, chain multiplicative, chain growth rate, as well as chain boundary. We have enemy weakened status. We have advantageous class, which is basically class affinity. We of course have color affinity, orb boost, attack boost, 2 conditional boosts. We have all 3 territories active, and they are very strong territories for this team: strength, cerebral, and powerhouse. We also have the stronger conditional boost from Shanks' special that you get from having both strength and also cerebral territories up before using his special. So let me explain it going through one by one. First stage here, we get the color affinity, which we will keep until the final stage, and very importantly, we get that overheal buff. This allows us to get the EX super of Saturn procced for that 1.5x class color affinity, or class affinity should I say. Stage 2 here, we have a defense up that we cannot burst through, as well as a 1 orb strength barrier. We also get a full board of matching orbs here. So we're going to use Shanks' EX super, which is procced thanks to us having both Whitebeard and also a Luffy on the team. And this will give us super type slots, which we will be trying to keep for the final stage, as well as gives the enemy defense down to 0. So with this, we can get through both of the defensive effects. Let's tap on Dory Broggy as well as the Whitebeard, and then kill with Saturn. Saturn does not need a super type slot, since he will be the one starting our chain on the final stage, which seems inefficient, but you'll see why in a moment. So the final stage, Vivi is weak to cerebral class, meaning that cerebrals do an extra 2x damage for free, similar to color affinity, right? So we go in with the damage reduction thanks to Mr. 3. That will help us with the damage reduction based attack boost from Shanks. First thing we're going to do on the team is use the action special of Saint Saturn. So this will give us the chain boundary, give the enemy increased damage taken. If I can hit the damn excellence. Remember, when you are doing action special, Typically, to get excellent, all you need is to hit excellent on that final one, and then you can mess up twice. You can hit perfect on 2 of the taps, and then if you get excellent on the rest of them, you will get the result as excellent. The most important one is that final tap, since it does it has a way higher priority when it comes to giving you the excellent on action special. So that's kind of just a small tip. If you want to make sure you get excellent on your action specials, try to hit at least 2 perfects, and then the rest has to be excellent, and the final one has to be excellent. It makes a massive impact. But anyways, I digress. We are going to be using the super swap of Whitebird and Ace. We need to make sure that we have we're either in the Whitebird form or in the ideal form before using Broggy's special, which will allow us to get the stackable attack or conditional boost, right? He requires us to have 3 4 Emperor characters. So the Whitebird, of course, Shanks, and then Luffy himself. This will allow us to get the stacking conditional boost. If you're in the Ace form, the singular Ace form of Whitebird and Ace, then that will not work, right? So just keep wary of that. Next up, we will be using the special of Shamrock. This will allow us to get the territory cerebral, and alongside the strength territory from Saint Saturn's special, we can get the very strong version of 12th Annie Shanks' special ability. Yeah, I messed up. Okay, yeah, we still got excellent, even though I messed up 3 times there. If you hit a miss on one of the taps in the action special, it's game over. Even if you get excellent on everything else, you'll still get only a maximum of perfect as your result. Anyways, we are going to be using the special of Shanks now, since we have both of those territories up. And this will give us that damage reduction based attack boost, and also the conditional boost. Nice, perfect. So I mean, we messed up on on Saturn's, but that is definitely the least impactful one. You need to hit excellent on Ganko's action special, since she gives a tap timing based attack boost that gets better based on how good your action special turns out, and it does make a massive difference. If you don't know what tap timing based attack boost is, after hitting a certain amount of perfects, you get an extra damage amp when you hit perfects, right? And what hitting excellent does for Ganko is it makes it you have to hit less perfect taps to actually activate the tap timing attack boost. So it's definitely the most impactful action special out of all these units here. We can then use our Broggy and Luffy. This will give us a base attack boost of 2000, and then also a conditional boost thanks to Brook's support ability, which is procced by Dory Broggy themselves, giving the enemy defense down 3 immunities. It's very important that you use this character special first before Ganko's EX Super. They both give base attack boosts, but Dory and Broggy's one is a bit better, right? And then we get healing from both the EX Supers of Shamrock and Ganko, and then the weakened state thanks to Shamrock's EX Super, which pairs wonderfully with the increased damage taken from Saturn's special. You can also use Saturn's EX Super for the class affinity. It really doesn't matter when you use it. If you're using V2 Strength Nustro, then it's very important that you use the EX Super before Nustro's special. But this is not how it works on this team. We're not running Nustro, so Saturn, it really doesn't matter when you activate him, so long as his special goes before Shanks. It's very important for Shanks' conditional to be a 6x instead of 4x or 3x even. Next up, we can use Ganko's special. Very important that you use Ganko before Whitebird and Ace, because both of them provide an attack boost. But if you use Whitebird and Ace after Ganko, they'll provide a massive 1.5x increase to Ganko's attack boost, and also provide a chain additive buff of 2x, I'm pretty sure. I mean, mainly to proc the Super Tandem and EX Super of Shanks. This is why we're running Luffy, Broggy, and then also Whitebird and Ace. These units don't make as much of an impact, but they still like carry enough to the point where it's worth running them. But the main reason we're running them is to proc Super Tandem from Shanks. Remember, we did use Shanks' EX Super on stage 2. That provided a 3-turn buff that states that we can use Super Tandem with strength slots, and we do have our strength slots here. We can perform Super Tandem. We will use the first tap of Saturn. Second tap, we can use Ganko. This will allow us to get the rush effect. Although, to be honest, we technically could first hit with Ganko. I think I'm actually going to do that. I think I'll get a higher damage. Yeah, let me try this. We'll first tap with Ganko. We'll save Saturn for later on, actually. I think that's going to be a better move. He does have a pretty bad last tap, Saturn, but I'm quite interested to see what'll happen in terms of our damage. But overall, we have an attack boost, which has been buffed by 1.5x thanks to White Bit and Ace, going up to 6x, a 6x conditional from Shanks, 1.5x conditional from Brook Support, a 2000 base attack from Dory Broggy, a 50% damage reduction, which goes well with the damage reduction to attack from Shanks. We have chain growth rate of 0.7 per perfect, thanks to the super swap of White Bit and Ace, chain additive thanks to White Bit and Ace, chain multiplicative thanks to Shamrock, which is a massive chain multiplicative as well. Keep that in mind. We also have color affinity from Shamrock's captain ability, class affinity thanks to the EX Super of Saturn, tap timing attack boost from Ganko, and I think that's about it. Enemy has weakened status as well as increased damage taken. We have all three super type and super classes, and then also all three territories. This is a pretty ideal circumstance, actually. So let's see what we can do, starting with Ganko. Perfect. Clean. It's so clean. And then I also see Shamrock Super Tandem boost animation. My boy Kento Nanami's voice. Yeah, I know Saturn as the last tap is a horrible idea. We still did 16 trillion though. Like, yeah, that was 16 trillion, right? We did run a fairly invested friend captain, but in the test run I did before recording here, I did 13 trillion, so that's a massive amp. The only thing I did differently from that run is that I used Dory Broggy's base attack boost instead of Ganko's EX Super's one, but it's a very small, like 250 base attack difference. The main thing I think is using Saturn later on. I highly recommend tapping with Saturn after Shanks and then with Shamrock. I think Shamrock is still the best unit to tap last. Saturn is just not doing enough damage. Like, let's be real, man. Like, that was pathetic what Saturn was doing there. Like, you tap with Shamrock, you can see the enemy's health bar disappear, and then you tap with Saturn, I saw nothing change in the enemy's health bar visually anyways. But anyways, 16 trillion, not bad. Definitely could be improved if you take my advice. Tap with Shamrock last, and yes, that one tap difference makes quite a big change here, because remember, we have all those chain buffs. The chain multiplicative and chain growth rate together make each perfect a massive change in your chain. So definitely important. Tap with Ganko first, then with your Super Tandem units ending with Shanks, then V2 Saturn, and finally with Shamrock. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully these teams were helpful for you. I'm quite satisfied that both of them have a very similar damage range in the realm of 15 to 20 trillion based on how much investment and alliance attack boost multiplier you have, getting upwards of 20 to 25 trillion even with proper investment. A friend captain Shamrock anyways. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, ask them down below. I'm happy to finally be back on making super boss videos. I mean, as I said, last time I made super boss video on the channel was July 2025. I probably only have like 5 super boss videos on this entire channel, which is horrible, right? So I really am satisfied with the strong teams that I made, even if they might be similar to what other people have made as well. But I will have videos hopefully testing like Nika Bonnie cerebral teams using characters like the treasure map Stella, Kizuna Legend Atlas, New Year's Kuma and Nika Bonnie, of course. I think those guys can still do a massive damage on this deck super boss. So stay tuned. I might have videos for that if you don't have units like Ganko, right? I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. And I'm out.